Hey everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Clown blog, coming today with our Slow and Low series with Amanda Young out of Florida. She's a single mom, a nurse, and a real estate investor. How are you doing today, Amanda?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Amanda, I basically heard you on the Grant Cardone show, and I was just so excited that I had to reach out to you and contact you. You're in the same state as Grant, but you're starting your real estate investment career, and uh, I just I'm ready to talk to you today. So, how's the Florida weather?
It's beautiful. Perfect right now.
Every time I talk to someone from Florida, it's literally 80 degrees and it's usually cold
Yes.
here. But for once, it's like 70 something in Texas. Uh, so I was going to start off with where did you grow up and how did it affect you?
I grew up in Tampa, Florida. I had a great childhood. Had a classic, we lived on the water. We had a boat. It was fabulous. Both of my parents worked very hard, and they're still working hard. And they're working so hard that I kind of want to be able to give back to them someday.
Awesome, awesome. So what was one of the biggest challenges in starting your business, which for you it's real estate investing? I mean, I know you're a full-time nurse and a full-time mom, so what was one of your biggest challenges in that?
Well, my biggest challenge was definitely finding the money to invest with. I started with the end goal of this idea to retire early and try to spend more time with my family, spend more time doing the things that I love to do. And I thought, well, if I can retire early, then I'll be able to have that time. So I started with that goal and I worked backwards. How am I going to get there? I did a ton of research, stocks, everything you can think of, starting your own business, inventing something.
Right.
And I finally found that real estate was something I could understand. It
Gotcha.
was something I understood. It sounded like something I could do. Um, I could analyze the numbers, and it all made sense. So I started with an angle, and I ended up at real estate as a vehicle to hopefully retire early one day.
Oh, I mean, that's great. I think real estate is, I think 80% of multimillionaires have some amount of real estate investments. And so I just think it's
Absolutely. And
something we all can do and start. If I go down to Florida and I go, hey, that Amanda Young, what would others say about you and your business or how you conduct yourself in that area?
well, when I started with this idea and I discussed it with friends and family, someone looked at me like I was crazy. How are you, as a single mom, you're working a full time job, going to be able to do this? And I said, you know what? Where there's the will, there's the way. And I slowly started saving. I made a goal to try to live on half of my take home pay.
Hmm.
I don't always do that, but it is a goal. And so little bit by little bit, you save up. And I bought my first house. I was able to do that. And, I bought that first house and they were like, wow, she's really going to do it. And so after that, and as I started talking about it more and taking my goal and putting actions to it, people started to realize that, you know what, she's really going to walk the walk. She's talking the talk, now she's going to walk the walk. So I think they went from thinking she's crazy to, kind of being inspired by the fact that I pulled the trigger
Yeah.
and done it.
Yeah. I meet people every day who are engineers here in Texas and they make 10 grand a month or 8 grand a month and they're like, I can't save any money. And I'm like, wow. Like, it's a discipline to save half your
Yeah.
income and be the full time provider for your children. So
Well,
that's
it's
a
a
big
sacrifice,
deal.
but it's a happy sacrifice that I
That's what I'm saying. Happy.
do.
How would you encourage others? I know you're in Florida, and Florida got hit hard by real estate in the crash, the market crash. How would you encourage others in your area or even your parents to be like, hey, like you can do it too. You can invest.
I think, you always want to start with what's your dream, what's your goal, what do you want to do? And once you have that dream, the difference between a dream and a goal is an action plan. So you want to start there. You want to start with your end goal. What do you want to do? What do you want to
Gosh, that's doers. People that are doers. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yep, pull the trigger, do it. Just do it.
Stop talking about it. Shut up. Eric Thomas goes,
Yeah.
"Shut up and do it." um. So how do you finance this? I know you said you saved up money, but how long did it take to save up that amount of money to buy that house?
Well, I actually did research for probably maybe a little over a year on trying to figure out. I went to the library. I read every book on starting a business, personal finance, stocks. Read all kinds of blogs. In that year, I was putting back money because I was either going to start a business, I was going to do something. I just didn't know what it was. And so after I settled on real estate, okay, this is what I really understand. I'm not confused by it. I can understand it. It took about, I'm going to say 6 months after I made that decision, and I really started putting that money away. And then I started looking for houses. And so finally I found, the house that suited my needs, that met my requirements, that I could afford. And so I would say about a year and a half of really putting back and saving and buckling down.
Yeah, I like how you started and said 6 months and then like a year and a half,
That's about how long it took.
because it's not that long. I mean, that's a short time period, but that's amazing. Some people could completely change their life in that small time period. You know what I mean? And so that's what's great about that. 6 months is like that. Um, so where do you see yourself growing your business in 2 years? I mean, do you see yourself buying more rentals? Do you see yourself buying, you know,
Absolutely, absolutely. I definitely, within the next 2 years, if I follow my goals and my path, at that point I should have at minimum 4 rentals. I'm also going to start flipping houses. So I will find a house to flip, take the proceeds that I make, and purchase the house with that. Use that as a down payment. So hopefully maybe 2 flips and 4 rental houses by the end of 2 years if I keep going the way I'm going.
so how many do you have right now?
I only have one. I only have one.
Okay,
So
okay. Hey, there's nothing. Hey,
yeah.
gotta start. I love it.
Hey, your program is slow, so this is a slow process.
Yes.
It's not going to be an overnight millionaire. It's not going to be something that's going to happen. Um, the early retirement idea is probably going to take about 10 years. I'll be 45 at that point. I still consider that early
Oh
retirement,
yeah.
but yeah, it'll take some time, but I find it fun. So the 10 years, at that point, I should have about 10 rental houses. I hope, maybe more if things go well. But at minimum, 10 houses, then I should be able to, I'll say, retire early and do real estate full time.
Right, right. So I love that hey, one house better than no houses. I love that the
That's
approach
right.
is like it's a 10-year plan. It's not an overnight. It solves all my problems and magically there's no discipline. I think that's the most important thing for people to see is that you're taking your time, you're making smart investments, and you have a plan. Do you ever read Bigger Pockets?
I read bigger pockets.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
The one book I have to suggest though that really opened my mind to the idea of changing the way I view money and see money is Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor
That
Dad.
really set me on the path of, yes, I had to change the way I saw money. I had to change my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
So when I read that book, that was a life changer, I would say. At that point, I had already read um, books on starting businesses and the stock market, um, index funds. I studied those a lot. Still didn't quite understand it. But then when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I got my hands on that book, and the light bulb went. So after that, I threw myself into real estate, discovered bigger pockets. I'm all over that, reading as much as I can, and I'm looking at my bookshelf now. I have tons of real estate books that I read. So yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of teaching and learning yourself.
I love that. I
Um,
think Rich Dad Poor Dad like switches the light on for people. Like
It does.
something about it to this day. I can ask people, "What book did you read?" And they're like, "Rich Dad Poor Dad," and I go, "Yeah, okay, I got you. I read that too." And
I even took a big white paper, big huge white paper, and I poster size, and I drew out the the map there, income and all different. I can't think of what he calls it on the tip of my head, but I drew it out and I've got it on my wall every day. I look at it, so I know my goal.
income coming in, assets
Yeah,
come,
yeah,
yeah, the cash
absolutely.
flow, yeah.
The cash flow. Yep.
That's good that you have that posted up. It's like a vision board for you.
Oh yeah.
So I know the last question I have mostly is what would you recommend to somebody? Say someone in Florida bumped into you, say another nurse in the hallway, or someone just graduated college or they just left school, any of those options. What would you say to them if they want to start fresh today? Like they just said, I need to start my life over. Amanda, what do I do?
I would say absolutely sit down with yourself and your thoughts. Write down your goals. Write down what it is you want to do. And from there, go backwards. Think of the steps you have to do to get there. And even if you do one thing a day to try to, even if it's a phone call, if it's a book, if it's reading blogs online, if it's doing research, if it's going and meeting with other investors in your field, if you do that once a day, at the end of the year, you at minimum have 365 tasks that you've done, to try to attain your goal. And little bit by little bit, you'll get there.
That's awesome. That's great. I mean, when you go to work now, do people go ask you a lot of questions about your rental properties?
Sometimes they do, actually.
They're like, how's the property going?
Yeah, they'll ask. They'll. I had one the other day say, I think I might, buy a rental. I think I might do what you're doing. Help me analyze the deal. Help me go through the numbers so I can understand if I'm actually getting a good deal or not. And I think that's so fun. I think it's cool.
Well, in the future, do you ever see yourself buying like apartment complexes or a small multifamily?
That would be awesome. Yeah, that is the holy grail. They say you make a lot of money in that kind of business. Basically, the idea is you've got multiple families under one roof. Then you have them spread out. So if you have to replace the roof, right, you're replacing one. Um, but yeah, eventually I would love to be able to do that.
That sounds
Love
great.
to. That would probably be like a joint venture type deal, but definitely.
I was like, I know
Sky's
some
the limit.
people. I was like, I know some people in Tampa. I've interviewed them. They're looking for real estate too. Y'all probably should connect.
That was great.
um, so Amanda, I know you have a little one at home that's sick, so I don't want to hold up all your time. I thank you for carving out a little bit, a few minutes for me, some questions. Again, everybody, where can they reach you? Tell us your website or your Gmail or whatever you
My
would like to
website
connect them.
is nursebuyhouses.net, and they can find all my information from there.
Nursebuyshouses.net. All
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
that sounds awesome. And you are Amanda Young out of Florida, single mom, real estate investor, and nurse. You guys, this is Erica from the Classy Climb blog today. We're ending our show, and if you have any questions, please leave them below. Thank you, Amanda.